So this is a middle grounds commercial trip. This is the first dive of the day for me. We just dropped off Paul on a different section of the same exact ledge, and we are going to work towards each other. Main targets are going to be hogfish, snapper, red grouper, and hopefully get a couple amberjacks. But this is the first one of many. It always seems like these hogfish just appear out of nothing. You just turn around and look in a spot that you'd already looked, and bam, there's a big one. So it's pretty neat. I don't know if I just don't have the eye for them or what, but they just seem to pop out for me this whole trip. So after stringing that hogfish, I caught a glimpse of what I thought was a black grouper out of the corner of my eye, and after pursuing it, I realized it was actually a yellowfin grouper. I'd never seen one here in Florida. I just seen a couple in the water in the Bahamas, and then we caught one trolling, and those were the first that I'd ever seen other than pictures. I have a buddy in the Carolinas that gets them, and I've tried to find them up there a couple of times, but no luck. I followed this one around. I gave it a little finger gun there, but it was just pretty cool to see. He was probably legal. They only got to be 20 inches here, but I passed up on him anyway. My buddy Jeffrey recently, we just did a tournament over the weekend. He got one about the same exact size, and it was lit up, which was really neat. So I'm thinking that maybe this one was lit up too, and you just couldn't see the red underwater. I don't know if I'm regretting shooting it or not. I thought it was pretty cool to see anyway, so I guess I'm going to go with I'm not regretting it. But I did look at them several times throughout this dive. So here's the unique thing about the hogfish and hunting them out here, and sometimes they're on the big breaks like I got that first one, and then sometimes they're just on these little slight roll-offs, and sometimes they're up top on the hard bottom. You just never know where you're going to find one, so you kind of have to cover all of the ground and look all all over the place. I guess towards the evening, they call it the sundowner dives, is when they really start to pack up on the bigger ledges, and I think that they just come out from the feeding grounds to get next to those bigger ledges to go to sleep. So commercially, we're allowed to have 7 amberjacks, and I was eyeing this one to see if it was big enough. More than likely, it was legal size, but I guess it wasn't overly legal, so I was still questioning it. I think I let this one pass, but I got another really nice one a little bit later on in the dive. I always love seeing these big schools of snappers because that's usually where you see all the other fish you're targeting. I typically see my hogs and my gags and everything else along with these guys. Not so much really on this day. We've seen several schools of these, and the other fish were kind of scattered, fewer and further between. But it's still pretty neat watching these big schools. If you could do a rod and reel on them, it would probably be worth fishing them commercially, but I think they're only like 1 pound to 2 pounds at most each. So we didn't really shoot a whole lot of them. Every now and then you'd see a bigger one, and we would take a shot at it, but very few. Got a nosy little sandbar doing a swim through. He wasn't being aggressive, but I ended up putting a power head on just in case, because sometimes they'll turn, and especially if you start shooting other fish. I decided to chase this one with a scooter. I was either going to run him off or see what he wanted to do, but I was definitely ready if he wanted to turn around and fight. I just ran him through this little trench right here. And it's actually cool because I just came through this way and I didn't see this red grouper until I started coming around the corner. So you just never know where these fish are. Sometimes with the scooters you pass up more than you see, and it's nice to backtrack every now and then because that's something that I definitely would have missed, and it happens more than you know. So sometimes the scooters are good, sometimes they're bad. I got lucky with this one and I did a little backtracking. So I mentioned doing a tournament earlier, and our team did very well. We got first, second, and third in it, but we're kind of using this as a scouting day. We hit all different sections of the grounds just to figure out where a majority of the species for that tournament were going to be. It was an aggregate tournament. We had to take a total of, I think, 15 fish. Chad got all 15 of his. I got 14 of mine, and I believe Jeffrey was only missing 3 of his, so We did very well in it. I think that's what most people were lacking. We had a couple big fish too, but there was definitely people with some bigger fish than what we had. We just had all the species covered. So I had those couple really nice jacks show up, and I already had the power head on from having that shark around earlier, so it worked out real good. I'm sure they would have given me time to throw a power head on and still get a shot. I still had that second one kind of hanging out for a second. You see right there, I actually pulled the flopper off my shaft. This is a older Koa shaft that I had, and I grounded the tip off so it works on them power heads. But the flopper on them shafts are a lot closer to the tips, especially after you grind them off, than the M85 shafts that I typically run. So it ended up, the steel pipe blew the flopper off that shaft, so I pretty much considered that a dedicated power head shaft for the rest of the dive and just started free shafting with the other one. So I'm just scoping out to see if I can't see where that second big jack went. Again, I believe there's a couple more legal ones here, but I was hoping to get the bigger ones, especially only having 7 of them. There is a wreck on the way home that Chad and them hit their last trip and got some probably 60-pound average jacks out of that. So that was always the backup plan if we didn't get big ones throughout the day in the grounds. So this right here was pretty interesting. You can see I look around a lot, especially after already seeing a shark on the dive. This is the first time that I've actually caught it on camera, having a shark come in front of me, and especially that close without me noticing it. You can see it just passed right through that top right corner. I have no idea. I'm trying to brain this fish and then get him strung up. I'm still looking around, and he's right behind me and doing tight circles, and I missed him for a complete circle, maybe even more, but I think it was only once. But I thought that was his first pass, and it was his second. So obviously I'm clipping that part of it out. That shark did a couple of tight circles and started getting jumpy. I pointed the gun at him and he was really in and out, so I ended up just taking him out. Other than that, I just traveled down this ledge a little bit after that. I'm already about 17-18 minutes into the dive, and I just don't find anything else, so I'll be headed up here shortly.
Seen a little yellowfin grouper. Really? Yeah. He was probably borderline. I thought about him a couple times. There's one less bull shark out there too. Oh, yeah? Yeah. I lost a flopper. Yeah, on that jack. came up and I pulled the power head off. It was like, oh, I guess this is a dedicated power head shaft now.
I got a flopper in my bag.
Yeah, it's alright.
But I probably ain't got a pin.
Yeah. How'd you do?
I only see one fish. I shot one snapper, that was it.
Dang.
Just pretty fair. That's it.